Hi everyone, it's Kristen again, and today on Simply Sketching, we are going to simply sketch a campfire because it's probably about that time where campfires are started with your, family members. You might be out cooking hot dogs or whatever. Feel like you need to sketch a campfire. Today I'm using colored pencils. Now these are Prismacolors. Please don't feel like you need to go buy Prismacolors. They say they're the best. They're not. Crayolas will work just fine. And I have my spiral sketchbook, just a regular, I've had this in my life for years. So we are going to start with yellow. And in order to draw fire, I'm going to draw my fire in 3 layers, and then we'll do the wood afterwards. So I'm gonna put those down. So we're gonna start with yellow, and we're just gonna draw a fire shape with some points. Now you might be thinking, Kristen, what's a fire shape? I'm gonna show you. Give me just a second. So it's gonna be where you start to draw a circle, but then that circle has some points. Now I'm making mine simple because I have to color it in, but it's just simple points on a simple fire. And I've started with yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and color this in, but before I color it in, I'm going to section off a little circle right at the bottom because I don't want to color that in. I want that to stay white. So I'm just going to color this in. Again, if you are not using colored pencils, you can just completely skip this part. You can shade it with normal pencils if you'd like. If you're shading it with normal pencils, this will be the second lightest shade. Obviously, the white circle you just drew is going to be the lightest shade. So color that in. Color it better than I'm coloring it right now. Mine's a little sloppy. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to very lightly feather some color into that white circle, leaving the middle completely white. Show that to you again. And then I'm going to put my yellow away and I'm going to switch to my orange colored pencil. And I'm going to draw the same fire shape, only slightly bigger, right around the yellow. And so I'm basically outlining this yellow fire shape I drew with orange, just like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna color that in. Again, be mindful of your yellow. You don't wanna color over the yellow. We wanna keep that yellow nice and crisp. And then when we get all done, again, if you're gonna use pencil, you can make this just a shade darker than the yellow to kind of give it some depth. And just as we did with the yellow, or with the yellow and the white, I'm going to just feather in some orange right around the edges of the yellow color, just to kind of give it a little hint of mixing. I'll show that to you. Now again, when you're doing this and you have loads more time than I currently have, you can color this in a little neater, a little darker, maybe dark at the top, light at the bottom to kind of give a gradient where, when the fire is super hot, it's lighter, and as it gets up, it gets darker. I'm going in with my red now, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm going to outline the orange now with red, only I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Same points, same everything. This is the layer. If you want to add a second point, you can. I'm not, for the sake of time, and you color it in just like you would. If you're using pencils, again, make this one a little darker than the orange. Because again, as fire gets cooler, it gets darker. So we're gonna do the red on the outside, and then as I'm getting done, I'm going to just feather some red back into the orange color, just to give it a little blending, just to make it look like it blends in. Now again, if I had a little bit more time, what I would do now is I would go back in with all my colors, and I would make the top portions of each of those colors a little darker, just to kind of give it a gradient. So we're gonna go into our logs now, because fire has to have fuel, and our fuel is going to be logs. So I'm gonna start with this dark brown color. Again, if you're using a pencil, you're not as cool as me because I have colored pencils. Just kidding, you're very cool. We're going to draw a couple circles around this campfire. Now, if you're looking at this log face on, they're going to be circles. As they go around the side of the campfire, they're going to turn from circles into ellipses or ovals. So be mindful of that. And I will show you what I mean. Okay, so you see how my center one is a full circle, and then as they go around, they get skinnier and more oval-like. And we're gonna start with this first one here in the center, and I'm going to draw lines that just connect it right to the base of my fire. We're not going through the fire, we're gonna stop right at the fire and outline it a little bit. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. And you're not gonna overlap. We don't need to show that. This is a simple sketch. Just take it right up there and draw the line. With your next one, do the same all the way around, all the way until you have done all of your ovals, your ellipses, your circles, however many of these logs you are wanting to draw in your fire. Okay, now that you're done with that, we're gonna go back and we're gonna draw some curlicues in the front. And again, if you don't remember what a curlicue is from one of the earlier ones, it is that shape right there. Think of a snail, think of a shell, I don't know, think of something. And we're gonna draw a couple of those in the circles and ovals of these. Just real quick, just something to give it a little bit of dimension, just like that. Oh, a colored pencil just rolled off my desk. And then we're gonna come back in with a couple lines down the side. Now, don't go all the way to the top, just draw a couple, just to kind of give it a little dimension. And then we're gonna go in with our light brown and just give it a couple more quick colors just to help set it off from everything else. So I've colored in the ends, and you can still see that dark curlicue, but now it's light brown. Now I'm gonna take this light brown and I'm going to color 3/4, math here, up the sides of each log. Why not the whole way, Kristen? Why do you ask? Well, it's fire, and fire has highlights. So we're gonna show the highlight on top. So you can go back, that little white space, if you want to, color it in yellow. And now it looks like your fire has lit up your logs a little bit. And that is a simple campfire. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.